Some people will never learn, and all you gotta do is watch the train wreck and watch how it goes down, 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 and further down. I am talking about somebody who is in Monat, who to this very day and age, at the end of July when I'm filming this video, is still going hard for tanking MLM and is using an extensive degree of faith manipulation, which is very, very worrisome to me. This person was on a live and they pitched them retiring their husband as a pro for Monat, who has, according to its 2024 income disclosure statement, more people at the lowest ranks making less and less money, even the people at the very tippity top of the compensation plan, also at the senior executive director level, where that person is still residing. At least that's how it could be. She might have been able to drop in ranks already. But this is somebody who's going hard for Monat and is using a lot of stupid tactics, in my opinion, and I hope that they're not successful to most people, that most people have understood by now that Monat is not a great business opportunity. I just watched her tell her audience that she retired her husband, so I think it could be a great bullshit bingo video for us to take a look what MLM classics or what typical MLM pitches we might find here. I haven't watched this thing yet. I've recorded it. I only watched the beginning and then I dropped out. So let's see what is coming our way. Hello, by the way. I'm Christina. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the channel. This is a video where Julie Stevens, one of the original Monat Huns, is pitching Monat unironically in 2024 and is telling us why she was able to retire her husband and why Jesus and God and faith in general and whatever you believe in is telling all of us to join Monat. So I cannot wait. Let's get right into this video and I will take a look at it from a bullshit bingo perspective and let's make a check mark whenever we hear the classical pitches. Retiring your husband for sure is a part of this video.
Well, hi guys. June was nuts, but this will be a short video. I just wanted to mention a couple months ago, oh my gosh, actually not months. It was probably just several weeks ago, probably like 3 or 4. I made a video talking about how I retired my husband, and I saw this specific friend of mine literally make a reel talking about how you should never say you retire your husband. Don't retire your husband. It's a bad idea and all this stuff. So I'm like, you know what? How in the world is that a bad idea? Like literally. So I just wanted to get on here and tell you guys, like,
I do not know the reel the person posted about critiquing her for literally retiring her husband. First of all, you cannot retire somebody else. You can only retire yourself if you paid into a pension plan and then you receive a certain age that is appropriate for your country and you can retire. What these pitches always say, and I don't know if the person who critiqued you or who triggered this video was somebody who said, you don't retire your husband, you pretty much ask them to quit their job so that it looks good for you because you want them at home and you also want to pitch it in your business opportunity. But it might not be a great idea because if the network marketing industry doesn't work out for you, you depend on another income, then your husband might need to go back to work. And for some couples, it's probably not the greatest thing on planet Earth if 2 people are at home all the time. If your husband doesn't do much and if you work from home, you're consistently with each other, it might sound like a wonderful concept to some, but it might sound very, very horrible to others. So I don't know the background story, but just my take on this, you cannot retire your husband. Your husband quit their job because you made enough money in your network marketing business. That's it.
people are going to rip on you no matter what. If you got something that they want and they don't have it, they're going to rip on you.
Jealousy, is that also a part of bullshit bingo? If you critique somebody because they cannot retire their husband and it might not be a great idea for others, you're just jealous of them? It could be. Jealousy, yeah.
So I'm on here to tell you guys why I retired my husband and share with you the little story behind the scenes. So, hi Ricky. Hi Stephanie. Good to see you guys. Good morning. Happy July. It's going to be such a good month. Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. Okay, so for your background knowledge here, to let you guys know, my husband's like a hard worker, super hard worker. When I met him, he had 3 jobs, and I got an apartment in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. If you guys know where that is, put let me know, because it's like such a small little town. It's got a good college there and everything. Hi. Oh my gosh, Simone. Oh, what's up, Simone? I should have looked at your picture. I know your face. I wish everyone's names were on profiles. I love Facebook a little bit more for that, but anyway. So when I first met my husband, he had three jobs. I got an apartment. I was a waitress at Chili's in Muskogee. If you guys have ever been there, yeah, it's a little ghetto area. But I had a job at Chili's, and it literally paid for my gas and just a few things. So I was kind of like struggling paying my bills. So Josh went and got a fourth job. We were only dating. He went and got a fourth job just to help me cover my bills. No joke. Before we were married, we just started dating. Yeah, Chris knows what Tahlequah is. It is so beautiful there, by the way. It's like the greenest area of Oklahoma. It's so pretty. That's where my husband was raised. So if I didn't go visit Tahlequah, I would have never met him. But anyway, my husband went and got a fourth job. No joke. We were just dating, and he goes and gets a job at Taco Mayo. He got off his other job that he had for like, I don't know, 4 years. He was working in telecommunications. He got off that job at 5 o'clock. And then at like, I think it was like 8 o'clock, he would go to work until 4 o'clock in the morning at Taco Mayo. No joke. He's always worked so hard because, you know, race car parts. Like, that was his life. And then he met me, and then he was like, oh, you know, I got to cover her stuff too. Honestly, I didn't ever expect him to, but he did. He's just the greatest man ever. Oh my gosh. Like, literally, I didn't marry him for his money, okay? But I married him because he had very hard work ethic, and I was madly in love with him. So that's a little bit of background.
Why does your husband have to have, or your boyfriend back then, 4 jobs to support himself and you when you have one job? Where you struggle to pay your bills? Maybe you could have taken up a second one as well. I mean, maybe we're missing some background information, but it doesn't sound that balanced, to be honest with you.
He always had multiple jobs. Always working. Whenever we first got married, we were really struggling financially. We moved to Colorado. I got pregnant, had Annie, and no joke, we couldn't afford nothing, you guys. We were 6 months behind on our duplex rent. 6 months. Like, it was $550 a month, and we were 6 months behind. It was like one thing after another. And our landlord, who was so kind, he was like, you can paint the duplex for us. So we painted the duplex. And then he was like, you can replace the roof. We replaced the roof. We did everything that we could to make sure that we were, you know, keeping a roof over our head and paying for bills. And then we moved to Oklahoma because Josh came home one day from Colorado, and he's like, I'm out of work. I don't have any more work. He was in construction. He's like, I don't have any work. And I just looked at him, and I was like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do? And so he was like, we can go to Oklahoma and look for work. And oh my gosh, leaving Colorado to go back to Oklahoma was not the first thing that I wanted to do, but I knew that there was more job opportunities, so we moved to Oklahoma. We actually bought a fifth wheel. I lived with Josh's grandparents, and I lived with Josh's sister. Me, Josh, and Annie lived with his family for months because we couldn't afford our own place. Josh was looking for work. He did find a job. It was a horrible job. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. And then it didn't pay, like, hardly anything, and he was driving an hour one way. Then after that, he landed a job interview with his uncle at Financial Equipment in Jinx, Oklahoma. You guys, when he got that job, we were living in a fifth wheel. I could not run the propane because we didn't have any, so hot water was out of the question. I had a 6-month-old baby girl. It was over 100 degrees in Oklahoma, and I couldn't afford propane to give my daughter a bath. That's how broke we were. Hi, Janice. My biggest blessing ever was being able to go to the grocery store and get some food. No joke. So I'm talking like struggling. Propane only costs like how much money? Like $40. Our fifth wheel space that we were renting was $35 a month. We were struggling, like, really bad.
This sounds like a lengthy rags to riches story, and I don't want to sound insensitive. Also, there's a risk I sound insensitive, which is fine with me. But if you struggle financially and if you have a job that doesn't pay you well and your spouse has 4 jobs and you are hardly able to keep up with your bills to pay anything, why do you have children that young then? For some people, it's an accident or they want to have children at a young age, which is perfectly fine. But at some point, I think you also need to be realistic because it sounds like they were rather young when they met each other. She didn't have a lot of educational background or professional background. He was doing part-time jobs or he was doing a lot of jobs that didn't pay him well. Then the option would be to not have children when you are that young. That would have been the smart choice instead of living under some dubious living circumstances where you cannot afford food or warm water for your baby.
And then Josh came home from this interview and he's like, dude, I got the job with my uncle. I got the job. And literally I cried for days and days and days. His first paycheck, we spent it all at Walmart on groceries. I was so excited. I was so happy, so thankful. That job paid $60,000 a year. Completely changed our life. Completely changed it. It was everything. I was so thankful. I could finally afford to not worry about paying rent. I could afford hot water. I could afford groceries. That was our life. That was our life. I was 21 years old and just figuring it all out. You guys, I had a little baby and we were living in Jinx and our closest family members were, like 30 minutes away, his grandpa and grandma, which we stayed with them too, in Sapulpa. That was my life. Josh's job got super, super demanding though. Over time, I'll just say this. He worked for them for 10 years and we're still to this day so thankful that he had that job. But no joke, he worked 100 hours a week. I'm 21 years old, newly married with a new baby, and I never get to see my husband, and I'm in a new state that I don't really want to be in. Talk about being depressed and sad and lonely and broke and lost, no direction. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to school. Hopefully, like FAFSA and the state will pay for my schooling, and I'll just pay it off when I can, whenever I get a job. I went back and got my GED because no, I didn't graduate high school. I went and got my GED, and then I enrolled in college at the Tulsa Community College. I had to drop my kid off at babysitters and you guys in daycare. That was the hardest freaking thing I've ever done in my life. Oh my gosh, giving my kid to someone else. I didn't know what was going to happen during the day, and she's too little to tell me. That was so hard. Oh my gosh, it was so hard. And then after schooling, I had a job at a pharmacy. I ran a pharmacy. I ran basically the whole entire, not behind the pharmacy, but the storefront. So I got a job there and I was working really hard. Josh is working 100 hours a week. I never see him at all. Long story short, no joke, I never saw him. I am telling you, and I never saw him. 5 o'clock in the morning, some days he would get home from work and then leave again at 7. That was it. I got 2 hours with him, sometimes a day. And the reason is because he was a technician for banks and casinos. And you guys, the casinos have these money counters. And my husband worked on the money counters. And so if a money counter went down, the casino was froze. So my husband had to drive all over the state. Sometimes, he drove sometimes 600 to 1,000 miles a day. Because he was like the clutch technician. He could always fix the machines. Even when other people were struggling, he could always fix the machines. He was super valuable there. And then you know what? Our pay started fluctuating, where they changed things at the company. And I don't think that they realized how difficult this was on us, but Josh had to start paying his gas, and his check literally barely covered his gas. So we went years paying for him to go to work. And all of our money was just accumulating into gas. And we were breaking even.
How do you break even at a job where your husband allegedly makes $60,000 a year? You don't spend $60,000 a year on gas. Not even in the US with those big ass trucks that very likely blow a lot of gas into the air, and where you also have to drive a lot. I understand that concept. I've never been to Oklahoma, but I've been to the Midwest, and I understand US distances compared to European distances. How do you spend $60,000 on gas? I think that's highly unrealistic.
Totally even. So my pharmacy money was helping, like $400, $500, $600 a month, you guys, like hardly anything. That was covering groceries and stuff. I understand the hard. I understand what it's like when your husband's gone and you guys got to provide for your families. I discovered network marketing around this time, okay? My daughter's 16 now. I've been in network marketing for about 14 years. I discovered network marketing. I heard people were making $20,000 a month, and I was like, shut up. No way. That's when I started dreaming about a different lifestyle.
That's where the predatory part kicks in, because this is not being pitched to her because she's happy in her life, but because she is in need of money and time with her family. And that's why network marketing is a predatory business.
I was absolutely mind blown that somebody could bring in extra money selling products. I was like, what? How is this possible?
Never heard of that concept
fast
before.
Forward, this is why I retired my husband, because I never got to see him. And you guys, he didn't retire right away. No joke. At the top of the company, I want you to understand this, they make $1 million a year. What's $1 million a year? Divide that by 12. You guys, it's almost 6 figures a month, okay? I was doing this financially, bringing this in Monat after several years. My husband still wouldn't quit. He would not quit his job. He felt useful. He felt like, what if Monat goes down? Like, he stayed with his job for 4 years while I was making killer money.
Yeah, but the killer money is also now disappearing for her. Don't get me wrong. She's at the top of the compensation plan. She still makes more money than other people. But some people simply don't want to quit their job and be at home with their family 24/7. I completely get that. And it's a smart approach because most people in network marketing lose money. The 2024 income disclosure statement, that's for the first 5 months of the year, has been released not too long ago. And the people at the top, at the SED, the Senior Executive Director level, make now, that's just for 5 months, but for perspective, they now make $371,000 median annual gross earnings. The average is $435,000. The low annual gross earnings was $228,000, and $655 was what the people at the highest annual gross earnings were making. The $1 million income earners, the time is very likely over for Monat, even at the tippity top, because Monat is now going down. So her husband is in a way Nostradamus, because all MLMs will tank at some point. And she is not going to make millions anymore. I doubt that.
It was the money, it was the responsibility, it was him feeling needed, it was his purpose. And then I started doing traveling. And it was insane. I was having so many girls do well and blowing up. So I was like, babe, like, we can't have our daughter, like, living with our friends all the time because I'm traveling and you're working 100 hours a week and I never see you. In our marriage, it was never struggling, but we didn't have the relationship we have today.
But why is your daughter, when you have all of this time freedom allegedly in network marketing, why is that person with friends all the time? Because you have all of the flexibility in the world and you're not required to travel. You could also take your child with you. And if it's school time for your kid, then you might need to stay with your ass at home and not be selfish, because kids and their school, whatever school system they're in, whether you homeschool them or they go physically to a school or they do online school, all of these things are to be prioritized over your very own needs, because you don't need to travel in network marketing. It's a flex. It's me earning trips. That's why, because I'm so successful, you could have just stayed at home. So what happened to that time and to that location freedom? It doesn't sound like you were totally that free.
It was so difficult. Like, imagine long distance relationships. That's what it felt like. I felt like literally I was all by myself. And I mean, I'm obsessed with my husband, you guys. I'm obsessed with him. So when he's not around, I get cranky, okay? So, oh, that's awesome, Tanya. Yes, I love being together with my husband too. You guys, if you want to see me in the happiest moment of my life, it's with him, okay? It's with him and Annie. That's everything for me. Well, we started doing well financially. We built a house in Oklahoma. It was a dream house for me. No joke. Like, literally, we couldn't even get approved for a $300,000 loan. because my credit score was so bad. And you know, it's just kind of weird with like network marketing incomes to get loans, right? So, I mean, like I never even considered getting like a $300,000 home at all until I hit those high numbers in my check. And I was like, oh my gosh, honey, why don't we just pay cash? We don't need a loan. Why don't we just pay cash? So I started meeting with builders and I started looking at what it was going to cost to build my dream home. And while I'm in these meetings talking about, oh, do you want 2 stories? Do you want 1 story? I'm sitting here texting on my phone because business is going good. It's blowing up. There's new girls who I need to introduce myself to. I'm answering questions. I'm addicted, okay? Like, I'm loving this a whole lot. And honestly, I didn't even know what kind of house plans I wanted. All I knew was the kind of bathroom I wanted and the closet that I wanted. That was my main 2 things. So, yeah, of course, I put my phone down for those meetings, of course. But what I'm saying is I was so busy building my business.
You wanted to build a house. The only thing you knew was what your closet and your kitchen would look like. Maybe don't do that. I mean, she got very, very lucky. It sounds like she had a lot of really kind people around her who supported her when she was younger. And then she got lucky because she joined Monat at the perfect time. And then she was able to build a house and she was able to continue the income with Monat for years, where most people in Monat struggle. But please don't build a house only knowing what kind of kitchen and closet you want to have. What was it? Bathroom and closet? Yikes. As the daughter of an architect, don't do it. That's yet again bad advice. Also, bullshit bingo wise, I don't know. I made notes. I really did. This time it's noteworthy. I have 3 things so far that, in my opinion, would be counted towards bullshit bingo in MLM versions. Retired my husband, a big one. The jealousy thing, if you critique me, that means you're jealous because you want my lifestyle. And the rags to riches story is also something that we always have to see. It always has to come. I'm still waiting for faith manipulation and pouring into others. And locking arms, we will see. But those are my 3 so far.
And living this rat race with my husband, like, it was really hard. Like, I literally started getting depressed again because I was like, what's the point of making money if I don't have you? There's no freaking point. Take all the money away. I just want my husband home. I just want to be able to see you a couple days a week. And so he did change his schedule around this time whenever we were building. He was 4 on, 4 off. So I had 4 days at home with him. And you guys, we fell in love all over again. Having those few days was everything. But as my business was blowing up, I brought him home, Janice. My business was blowing up, so did my workload and me traveling. So every time I had to travel, I had to find someone else to watch my kid because my husband couldn't be there with her. He had a job. He had to work. Some days he could, some days he couldn't. So the days that I was home, he was at work, and the days he was home, I was out flying to help build dreams and help these incomes blow up, helping change lives. And honestly, I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was just flying there, doing a wine and wash, and then flying home the next day. That was it. But it was happening a lot. So as we start building our house, my checks are still going up. And I'm talking going up, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this when you put your head down, you just go to work and you don't know what the results are going to be, but you know that it's going to be good, but you didn't know it was going to be that good. So every time I went back the next month for a home meeting on how we were going to build our house, I would tell them, let's go ahead and add this. Let's add some square footage. Let's add my bathroom. Because my check that month would have covered the cost of building it. So I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I got this dream home that's being built. I'm going to pay cash for this home.
Sounds very much like a complainer, though, to me. I mean, this is part of her rags to riches story, but when are you ever satisfied? I mean, now with Monat tanking, there's no chance whatsoever, but it doesn't sound like you're satisfied ever.
I'm going to pay cash for this home, but my husband's still not home. My checks? Well, SEDs makes about 6 figures a month, so you can guess.
At the peak time of Monat. Now, even the SEDs barely will make 1 million on average or at the height. Those times are over. And that's why she is now also consistently on her Instagram live pitching this ridiculous story and this ridiculous opportunity to us.
What mine was doing when I had a couple of SEDs in my front line. That's how good my checks were. Not everyone can do this, you guys. It takes a lot of hard work.
A lot of deception.
But a lot of people can do it and they don't know that they can. So as my business is blowing up and going good, we close on our home and I'm begging Josh, please quit your job. Oh my gosh, please quit your job. For like a year, I'm begging him. I'm like, please freaking quit. I know that you like feel like that's a habit and all the things, but like, I want you home when I'm home. I want your help. I need some like content footage done at these events whenever I'm talking to people and I don't want to be behind the camera. And Annie needs to see her dad. Like, yes. Yes to the question below. 6 figures, yes. So I'm literally trying to like convince him to quit his job because money is awesome, you guys. It'll change your life. But how are you using the money and how are you making it? So it was really difficult for me because I was feeling like my heart was like kind of breaking. I missed him every day. I always wondered what time he'd be home. It was usually 2 a.m. in the morning. That was a normal day. And then he'd be back at 7 again. I just never saw him. The times I did see him, I actually went to work with him, and his boss probably still doesn't know this, but I actually rode around the state with him doing stops, service calls. I hung out in the car with Annie at these service stops. That way I could at least spend an hour or two driving to a destination with him. That's the time that we spent together, okay? So I am begging him to quit his job because at one point I was like, you're costing us money. At the end of the day, you are costing us money working. So I'm literally fighting with him on this so hard. And he wasn't ready. He's like, if you double your check, I'll do it. So I doubled my check. He didn't do it. He's like, you double it again, I'll do it. I doubled it again. And so finally, we closed on our house December 18th-ish, I think, the end of December of 2018. And the happiest day of my life was when he called his boss, and he actually met with his boss, and he said that he quit. You guys want to like talk about sobbing your frickin' eyes out for days and days and days? That was my why. It was money to be able to provide for my family, but I wanted him home. I would have ran through brick walls. I would have done anything it took to bring him home. It was so freaking hard being lonely and being by yourself. So when people want to bash on me for saying bringing home your husband and retiring your husband is not the way to do it, bullshit. Bullshit. It was everything for me. I may not have been raised like you were. I may not have been growing up like you were, with your parents maybe working a corporate job, 9 to 5, 40 years, 40 days, 40 hours. I wasn't raised that way. My parents spent time together. My dad was an entrepreneur. He owned his own construction business. All of the kids, I have 5 siblings, you guys. There's 6 kids in our family. We were the construction company. We worked together. This is the kind of lifestyle I wanted. I wanted to be with my family. So whenever people want to call me out and talk crap on me for saying, don't retire your husband, that's absolutely wrong. Bull crap. You know what happened to Josh in the last several years? He's been able to dedicate time with his friends, with his family, travel with me on these retreats, on the company trips. He goes to Monations with me for an entire week. If I need to go somewhere, he can go. You guys, he also started working with Streetcar Takeover. If you don't know who they are, they do street races, not street races, but drag races all across the country, all summer long, and all of his best friends do it. So guess what he gets to do now? He gets to go with them anytime that he wants to an event and go street race, go drag race, do all the things, and I can go with him. I can even bring my kid with me if I want to. My husband has been able to invest money financially. All of our money that we've made, most of it is saved. We saved most of it because of my husband, not because of me. My husband's super smart with finances, and he never overspends, but he likes to spend. If it wasn't for him managing our finances, which is almost a full-time job, where would we be today?
I have a lot of opinions about the dynamics within that relationship, but I'm going to save that for myself. I have more BS Bingo topics. Not everybody can do it, only the one who are doing the hard work. That's also a classic. And my why, I had a why that was big enough: retiring my husband, spending time with my family, and crying. I don't want to sound insensitive yet again, but that's also something very, very typical for the people in those companies, that they need to let out all of their inner emotions in a very performative way, which in my opinion is not always healthy. Crying can be very healthy, but in order to do this, to support your point and your claim, why it is so worthy for you to retire your husband, bring your husband home from traveling through the great state of Oklahoma, that is, in my opinion, very, very performative. And did I understand her correctly? Her father was an entrepreneur and the kids were the construction company. That sounds very unhealthy. To me, it also sounds exhausting if you have one partner who's consistently pushing for you to be home all the time when you love to work. She said he was a hustler, he had multiple jobs, he liked to do this and that, but now you're costing up money, so now come home and help me out with Monat. You need to film me, you need to do this, and you need to do that. That also means that she put a lot of pressure onto him because she wanted to spend time with him. And he's not retired because, number one, you cannot retire somebody else, but if he helped her and if he works for her to film her content, and also if he's doing drag racing or other shit, then he's not retired. Then he quit a former job and he exchanged that for another one or for hobbies. And that is not a smart decision for most people. Like I said, I don't know what the original comment was about, but if you retire your husband, you need to be financially stable enough to finance and to shoulder your life and the life of your family all by yourself. And with the Monat being in the state that they are, I do hope that they invested their money well, because there will not be a lot more money coming in for her and her retired husband and her child. That is a reality for most people who claim they retired their husband. It's like a token in network marketing and also in Monat, where you need to retire your husband from crazy, dangerous jobs. It is not a smart financial choice, and it doesn't pay off for most people. That's why this is very triggering to a lot of people, and that's why I'm reacting to a call and I'm calling this BS Bingo. Because retiring your husband is very much at the top of that list.
Where would we be? You guys, I would be sad. I would be depressed. Like, this is honestly the best thing I could have ever done in my life, was give my husband the time off to do the things that he wants to do. He could start up another company today if he wanted to. You guys, he has done so much financially for this family. He is able to invest money, make money back. You guys, just in real estate alone, with him making smart decisions, with us purchasing homes and selling them again, we've made millions of dollars.
That means that he was never retired. He did the financial stuff for you, he did investing, and then he buys homes and then he sells them again. He's not retired. Come on.
It's because of his smart financial decisions that he would not have had the time to make if he worked full-time for somebody else. Most people grow up believing that they get a good job and that's who they're going to retire with, building someone else's dream. My business, I have dreams. He has dreams. And guess what? We're building our dreams, not someone else's dreams. So if anyone's to bash on me for saying bringing home my husband was a bad idea, stick it. Go freaking kick rocks. I don't want to hear it. You want to bash on me for the best decision I ever did in my life and his life? Go for it. It just shows that you're literally jealous.
It just shows that you cannot reflect on the industry you're in, but I guess we're having different opinions there. Building someone else's dreams. She got lucky. She joined as one of the first people in Monat. You're also building corporate's dream because you're working for somebody else. She is a salesperson, very well financially rewarded for the stuff that she's doing there. Most people cannot relate to that. She is building Monat's dream, and that is not an excuse for scamming other people and for pressing and juicing money out of most people on her team, but she is an exception to the rule. So When you are working in a 9 to 5 with the money that you make, you could also just build your own dream while you're contributing to the income of a company, to the revenue and to the profit of a company. When you are in a multi-level marketing company, you are also building someone else's dream. That of the corporate side, of the owners of the company, and I wouldn't want to participate in building their dreams because, yikes, and also to your uplines. So you're not building just your dream when you're in network marketing.
That's all it is. Jealousy is going to come at you in all forms or fashion. You know what I do with the jealous people? Try to convert their attitudes and show them there is a new way of life. But if they don't want it, it's not my fault. It's not my issue. Maybe they were not raised the same way that I was raised. My parents raised me right. They raised me to spend time with your family. I grew up with depression. I didn't want to go back there. I got through that. I didn't want to experience it again in my older ages. You guys, at 21 years old, I started getting depressed again. And it was because I missed my husband. I felt lonely. That was the one person in life I wanted to be with. So Monat, the greatest thing that it's ever done for me in my entire life, it's not the money. It's the option.
It is the money and the options that are provided to you thanks to the money you made in Monat. One of the few people in the company who make a profit.
That's all it is. It's options. If you don't want to retire your husband because you don't want him at home, that's on you.
Ooh, somebody's mighty
Some
triggered.
people don't want their husbands at home. I get it. My husband's freaking awesome. And I want to spend every minute I possibly can with him. And yeah, we do take some time apart. Sometimes when we have to miss each other for a little bit, then it's like, oh, I miss you so much. It's all great, whatever. We have that too. But on a day-to-day, if there's something really important that happens in my life, such as my dad going into the ICU, and I have to be there with him, never walking out of the hospital except to go cry outside of the building for 18 days, knowing that my husband is taking care of my daughter and not having to answer to somebody else, that's everything. It's everything. That's my little vent session. That's my little story. So I'm just telling you guys right now, you don't have to retire your husbands.
In fact, you cannot retire your husbands because you cannot retire somebody else.
In fact, like maybe retirement's the wrong word. It's okay.
It's the wrong
I call it
word,
retirement
yeah.
because I did. I retired him. He doesn't have to work ever again for the rest of his life because of our financial decisions. Because the $15 million in commissions that I have earned in the last 10 years with my company has been saved mostly.
You've been with this company for 9.5 years. It will be 10 in October, so also not correct. It looks like she's really, really triggered, and I can only imagine how difficult it must be to be in Monat at the moment, but I do not like her attitude. I do not know if she was ever like this. I also included her in a Monat Elite video at some point, but there was not a lot of footage available from her. Now she's on social media a lot, and she comes across the way she presents herself, the business opportunity, the way she uses faith manipulation is really, really horrible. The way she blames other people who left the company, the way she blamed people who left the corporate side of the company, Stuart McMillan, who now also filed a lawsuit against Monat. The more I see of her, the more I dislike her. And it must be extremely, extremely difficult to be in tanking MLM when you yourself still truly believe that this was a great opportunity and a great investment and you don't want to leave and you cannot leave. But you also realize, oh, my paycheck is not where it was, and I hope I will be able to make more money at some point in the future, although I allegedly already made so much money that I and my husband were set for life, which could very well be. But this is a really, really bad and desperate attitude and doesn't speak to being a true leader. Just because you recruited the most people doesn't mean that you're a good leader. The more I see of her and the more I see how she presents Monat and her business, the more I dislike this.
I pay my taxes and I save my money. We never live above our means because of my husband. Because Josh is smart. So, that's my little vent session. That's all I have to say. And you guys, if you're not there yet, I want you to start dreaming about it. Start dreaming about what if. What if I ended up doing what Julie did? If that's what you need to say, whatever. Like, you don't have to even compare yourself to me at all. There's a lot of successful people in the company and in the world outside of Monat. But what is your why? What makes you cry? For me, my why was to see my husband just a little bit more. Was to have those days with him. So, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Best decision I ever made in my life was retiring my husband. I didn't want to wait until we were 70 years old to live the life that we dreamed about. We want to do it today. My daughter has 2 years left of high school. Every single day is committed to her. We have one child. We're going to get her through this life the best way possible, best education as possible, best street smart education as possible. And she's going to learn to love people. She's going to learn to love Jesus because we got the time to spend with her and we didn't pay somebody else to raise her. That's what this is about. It's about options. It's not about bashing on someone else for their decisions. It's about reaping the benefits of your hard work so you can make your own decisions. So next time someone says it's not good to retire your husband, I unfollow.
Yeah, please do. I also wonder who is attracted by this pitch, or who in her downline is still attracted to this, because most people in her downline cannot relate to this. She was able to make $15 million in commission over her 9.5 years in Monat, and that is why she can be all of this high and mighty, but for most people it will not work out. There are a lot of people who retired their husbands and they're not making anywhere close to the money they did before, and they still have to shoulder the income for the entire family. That is why it's not a good idea to bring your husband home and for your husband to quit a job. Could be an idea. And the second one, I'm going to mention it over and over again, you cannot retire somebody else.
Because that's a little trigger for me. I worked my ass off to bring my husband home. And you guys, he's busier than ever. He's full-time gym committed. He's now kind of like my personal trainer whenever I do go to the gym with him, because he's smart in that department, okay? He's been able to financially invest in even the stock market. You guys, like, literally, he plays around with the stock market. He has a set amount right there. He can do whatever he wants. No, he doesn't do Monat. No, he's not a shampoo rep. He's the backbone behind me being a shampoo rep. He's the person who helps me. He's the person who is my shoulder to cry on. He's the first person I tell when I get exciting news from a team member. He's the one who truly makes me feel proud of myself because he says, I'm proud of you. And he shows it on the daily. If he was gone all the time, I would have never gotten this. Like, people will separate more and more the less time they spend together. I wanted to make our marriage work. And you guys, it's the best marriage I could have ever imagined, but it's been hard. We did have hard times. I'm not saying that marriage is easy. You love him enough, you'll work through anything, right? So, yeah, okay. A lot of comments here. I'm trying to read to you. People do judge sometimes, and I think they judge because they're like, oh, that didn't work out for me. I do have some girls that retired their husbands, and they're like, that didn't work out for me. I'm like, why not? I don't even need to know. I don't even need to know. But if you're anything like me, you want to be home with your family, and you want to give your husband the options, you want him to quit losing hair because he's stressed out at work. You guys, my husband was so stressed. Oh my gosh. That's why I wanted him to quit. I honestly could have even, handled the 4-on 4-off schedule that he had, but his stress level that he was bringing home was so hard. I felt so bad for him. So I just want you guys to know, retiring your husband doesn't have to happen when you're older. You can do this right now. You can do this in the next couple of years. It's going to take some hard work, a lot of work, but you can do it if you want to. And if you don't want to, cool, whatever. At least you have a backup plan in case something does happen, because no job out there is secure.
Monat is also not secure, and we see that right now. So great pitch. Don't retire your husband if you're in Monat, because number one, you can't, but also because Monat is tanking.
Nothing is secure. Monat's not even secure, really, if you think about it. I mean, what if a hurricane comes in and takes out all of Miami, the whole city, and our entire manufacturing facility went down?
I wouldn't be against that. You know my opinion about Florida, but I'm not wishing any hurricanes or tornadoes to take out Miami or their warehouses. That's BS. Monat is not secure because a lot of people are leaving Monat. There is hardly anybody left. There are 101,000 market partners after it was over 200,000 just a few years ago. That is why Monat is tanking. You don't need to take out their freaking warehouses. You are living on a different planet, and it's concerning. And those are, I think, the most endangered people. I mean, she's lucky. She made a good amount of money. But those people will very likely never be able to leave network marketing because they have brainwashed themselves into believing this crap. It's incredible.
Do you have money saved until they build back up the manufacturing facility? Always have a plan B. No, I don't mean another company. No, I don't mean to go jump ship and go somewhere else. No, I don't mean working 2 network marketing companies. Come on, you guys, you know me better than that.
Why not? That's a plan B, but not a plan B that benefits you.
What I'm talking about is you not relying on anyone else. My company is going to blow up continuously because I'm a part of it, because it's my company.
Then you're doing a bad job because Monat is not continuously blowing up. Monat is on the down. The amount of market partners are down. More and more people are leaving. After this horrible income disclosure statement from 2024 got out, more leaders left to pharmacy of all MLMs.
I'm a part of growing this business. I'm a part of helping other people win. I'm a part of making these shampoo sales continue to grow and continue to be bought time and time again. And honestly, out of everything out there in the world, this is the most secure place that I could ever possibly find. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm all in. That's why my backup plan isn't ever planned out. It's just there. I have savings. I wouldn't have that savings if I wouldn't have worked hard, though.
Then you don't have a backup plan. But you were lucky in Monat and now you will live off of your savings forever. That's not a backup plan. That's you living off of your savings.
And if I didn't have another helper to help me save that money and to finance correctly, you guys, we have an entire financial advisory team. A whole team.
But I thought it was your husband who did all of this. There's a lot of factual information missing. I thought it was her husband who did all of that, who is so smart. Her husband who's the hardest worker, who's able to work out the hardest, and that's why he's so inspiring in the gym when she goes there. Which one is it? But now you have an entire financial advisory team. I mean, you will need it. Good for her. Another one off the street, but still.
And Josh leads all of it, and he just fills me in. So anyway, that's my vent session. I'm done. I'm over it. June was freaking awesome, by the way. July is going to be even better. And I'm really, 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 really looking forward to hearing some more stories like mine. Because we have a lot of work to do, you guys. There's people out there who really need this opportunity. And they might not ever hear about it unless it's from you. So if you guys have someone on your art, you need to reach out to them and don't prejudge. Every single person should go on your list. You need to open up the door of opportunity to everyone you talk to. You don't know who was like me, struggling, trying to figure out how I was going to pay for propane to heat my hot water for my daughter. There's a lot of girls out there who are not telling their stories, and they're not sharing it on social media like I wasn't. I was not sharing any of this stuff, you guys. That's embarrassing. Most people are not going to talk about their embarrassing hard times. But what if you messaged somebody today and they were going through something like that in the background, and you had a little hand in helping impact their life that would change it forever?
Predatory. That's what this is.
Maybe help their marriage. Maybe help a single mom who has a kid, but they need help with taking care of them. It gives you options. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great day. And thanks for hearing me rant a little bit because, oh my gosh, Lucia, is that how you say it? I text her on Instagram, but I've never said her name out loud. She's going for founders. I'm so excited, you guys. There's a lot happening. If you saw my stories last night, go check them out. We got rank advancements popping off like freaking crazy. It's so exciting. And if you're wanting this business to really work, I say momentum is everything to helping you really blow up. But it's hard to create momentum. It's really tough. But if there's already momentum happening within the company, all you got to do is just lock arms with those people, share their wins, share their celebrations, and it will happen for you too. I'm telling you, it's way easier to jump in with momentum, and right now the momentum is huge. We are up so high in rank advancements, and you guys, listen, we had a huge purge last month, okay? A lot of leaders left. I want you guys to know this if you guys are in Monat. I know of a company, their top leader left. They were doing $3 million in sales on that team. The next month, $500,000 in sales. When big leaders leave, usually sales drop up to 75%. Our numbers last month were bigger than the month before, and we had one less day. So what does that tell you? All right, that's all I got. Go for visionary founders, you guys. I love it. I love it. I love it. Share with me your wins. I'd love to celebrate you. It's going to be a really big month. Yeah, Tanya is absolutely right, and she's thinking the same thing as me. When people leave, I'm like, oh, cool, more opportunity for me. Less competition in the world. It's true, you guys. It's true. We love them for building what they've done and the impact that they made over here, and we wish them well and bless them whenever they go somewhere else to another business or company. It's all in respecting their decisions, but not letting that slow you down. There's way more opportunity for you out there now than whenever people leave, especially if they're in your area, if they're in your social media circle. Take advantage of it. Surge ahead, because even the people who left are still using the products. All right, love you guys. Bye.
She is so far removed from reality, it's incredible. The other points I now added to the BS Bingo list is momentum, because Monat, of all the companies, of course, is in momentum now. I was missing the now is the best time to join, and you're not loving on the people who are leaving. She was very outspoken on calls, how horrible people are who speak out negatively about Monat. So no, you're not praising those people, you're not cherishing those people, you're not wishing them all the best. You have a really, really, really nasty attitude, Julie, and it's not even being covered by this thin layer of positivity. It's ridiculous. On my heart, share what's on your heart. So overshare your personal trauma and your personal needs. Nothing good ever comes out from a Monat hun or a hun in general sharing what's on their heart, and then lock arms. Ringel, ringel, Reihe. I am mind baffled, and I would feel sorry for her if she didn't have this nasty attitude towards other people. But yeah, this is somebody who will very likely be a lifer in Monat. Monat is closing the warehouse, and she's attached to the door handle, crying and asking for them to reopen because she retired her husband, and that's why it's important for her. Let's get back to the bingo list. So what do I have? Retire my husband. That's a classic. Jealousy. If you critique me, then you're just jealous. Also a classic. The rags to riches story has to be a part of every hun's pitch. Not everybody can do it, but you need to put in hard work. Also a classic. My why. You have to have a reason why you want to do this network marketing company, and it needs to make you cry. That's the next one. Crying. She was crying. That's in itself, of course, okay, but very performative on a live, where you cry about everything. Building someone else's dream instead of your own. You're building somebody else's dream because you're working for a company. You're building the company's dreams and your upline's dreams. The company is in momentum. Income disclosure statement, people leaving left and right, telling everybody how their paychecks is down and why the paychecks is down, because more and more people are leaving. Monat is paying out less and less. They changed their compensation plan. Didn't even let the team know. Yeah, no. That is not momentum. That is... What's the other side of momentum? Well, it's BS. On my heart, nothing good ever comes out of people sharing their heart and lock arms. I have 10. Is it 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's 10 BS Bingo thingies I could find here. I hope you played BS Bingo as well, because this was a classic and a way to switch up the Monat content. It is sad to see that some people actually are very much prone to the manipulative tactics of the company, and I do believe that she's really wrapped up in these. I've also seen her use faith manipulation on other calls. She didn't grace us on this one, But it is concerning, and I wonder how much positive this live did for her. If you're not already entrapped in the system, I think it's rather off-putting, because that type of attitude is not helpful for your business, and it's also not helpful for the people on your team who are already seeing that their revenue is down. They're not making a profit, or they're making less than they did the year before. Don't try to bullcrap people by telling them the last month was good, but this one was better. People can see that their paychecks are down. I hope that these tactics don't work. And it's a no for me, Monat. You might be surprised. And it's a no for me, Julie Stevens. I would love to get your feedback on this. It is surprising how much you can dislike somebody presenting these business tactics when they start to speak out more and more on social media. It's like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. You should have stayed silent, that way the people probably would have liked you more, but the moment you started to speak out and you never ever were able to shut up, the more people will dislike you. This ominous group of people, this unidentified group of people, of the public. If you like these videos, then please subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. If you would like to comment something, please do that down below. Share the video. All of these things help the channel out a lot. And if you like these types of videos, then hopefully I will see you in my next one. Until then, tschüss!